Have you heard this? You don't get the life you want. You get the life you assume is yours. I know it, not from theory. I know it from my own experience and hundreds of other people I was observing during the last 4 or 5 years. Imagine now, just for a moment, that if there was one skill, one single skill you could learn, and it would help you turn your life around and help you create the life you want. Imagine such a skill. Not a new strategy, not another technique, but just one skill. Something over time will become part of who you are. You probably heard about the universal laws, the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, many other laws, primary and secondary ones. And you'll probably be told that if you learn how to relate to these laws, how to use these laws, with other words, to your advantage, life will be easier. And it's right, absolutely. But what if I told you that there is only one thing you actually need to learn for all these laws to work to your advantage, to your favor? Only one single thing. They will wrap it up and make it work for your favor, to your favor. Now imagine for a moment that just in this very moment, right now, there's a quiet story running in your mind. There's a story running about the money you earn, about your body, about your appearance, about your health, about your relationships, about everything. You barely notice it, but this story shapes everything in your life, whole your reality, literally. Your mood, your confidence, what you believe is possible for you, what you believe you are worth, and what you feel you are able to. This silent voice beneath your thoughts, it's the voice that you barely are aware of, but you can understand it by observing your results. But when you are there, when observing your results, we can say it's a bit too late because something already happened. Now, I can give you an example that this voice, every time when you want to go for something and when you decide to do something you've never done before, it can be very everyday things, you will go do something you have not any experiences from. Maybe you will go on the date, maybe you apply for a new job, whatever it is, something that is outside your comfort zone, your family zone. And probably you invest your time, you prepare yourself, maybe sometimes you learn skills, you invest the money, and you go for it, but suddenly something happens. An unexpected accident pop up, maybe some lets you down, some person, you get sick, whatever it is, you fall back again. You do something, stupid, just by the way, you fall back to the place of beginning. And here's the truth, most people never hear it, but it's not about luck, not a bad luck. There's no such a thing as bad luck. It's not a random circumstance, random events. The truth is here. It's simple that you cannot outperform what you assume deep in your heart is possible for you. Your assumption, true assumption, sets limits for all your achievements. If you cannot see yourself already there, accepted on the subconscious level, you will self-sabotage it. It's, when you go for something, we can tell, now is, New Year resolution, time for New Year resolutions. A lot of people will start to go to the gym and, increase the weight, decrease the weight, get healthy. And, what will happen that 3 weeks after they began, most of them will quit. And the process is like this. They go there to the gym, they are training, they are exercise, workout fingers, and then 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, they take care of their diet. But after 1, 2 weeks, the quiet voice deep inside the skin whispers, you was so good at it during so many days. Now you've got some results. Now you can take it easy and you can reward yourself. You can go and take a glass of beer. You can eat some big pizza, some big hamburger. You can take time off for 2 days. And now you are back on the old track. Because your inner voice inside your skin, your self-image, your assumption was not there. You never actually assumed that this is for you. This goal you establish in your subconscious mind never be accepted. So if you do something, you feel the voice, you hear the voice inside your skin that I'm already done so much so far, so good so far, so well, I can take time off. Don't do it. There is where discipline come in. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Because when you will go over the threshold, it will be part of you. And 3, 4 weeks from now, you will quiet the voice, and you will not need to use your discipline to keep on doing these new things. Because it will become a part of your nature, who you are. There, before people make a step over the threshold, 99% of people quit. I can give you an example. Every time you go for something never done, you can say you go for financial independence, for financial success, breakthrough. Sometimes you make decision, and down the way, when you meet resistance from outside, the quiet voice deep inside your skin whispers, do you really have what it takes? What happens? That the confidence drops, anxiety rises. You start to think, overthink, you procrastinate, and you find excuses to quit. You attract people, you start to review your thoughts with other people, and you will always find people that are in harmony with your deep beliefs, and they will say, you have a good life, whatever you have, you don't need it anyway, okay, quit, okay, you quit. Another thing, very common, is when you long for loving, happy relationship. You may be single for a long time, or maybe you were, in the rough relationship, one another third, and you long for the beautiful, stable, loving relationship, with respect, with love. Beautiful evenings with the red wine, you know what I'm talking about. And, when you find it, and you start searching for it, maybe you see some person that you think, oh, this is exactly the kind of person I will fall in love with, I want to share my life with. And the quiet voice whispers again, do you really deserve it? What happens? What happens that you end up in the same cycle of toxic, unhealthy, unsatisfying relationship. Like before. You know what I mean? Different faces, same story. Nothing changes. Why? This way. This way is because on the subconscious level, you never really assumed that it's for you, but you assumed failure before you even began. Your logical part of mind tells you, okay, this I need to do in order to achieve that, because This is what is logical to when I'm in this age. It's logical to make money, to make step forward, etc., etc. But your inner voice, the subconscious mind, there when you make the decision, your conscious mind, but subconscious is programming with the old stuff. You already there are decide that you will not fulfill the task successfully because it doesn't feel like you. So I remember my mentor told me that years ago that you can work hard on the external circumstances, you can create external results, but if you do not change who you are, how you see yourself, and don't accept on the subconscious level what's possible for you, feels like home, you will never create these results. Even if you create temporary, you will self-sabotage everything and you will fall back to the place where your subconscious programming accepted as your home, as your familiar zone. I will tell you something, the true story from my life. I was born in Poland, grew up during very, difficult circumstances during the communist dictatorship, and my parents had a hard time because we didn't support the regime. And when I look backwards, I can tell you that I always had big problems with my self-esteem. It's not that it was too low, it was too high. I was, I found the dictionary, English dictionary word, foolhardy. So it's dumdristig in Swedish, foolhardy. I will tell you something now, what happened 2004, summer 2004. I went for one of my biggest dreams. At that time, it was my biggest dream. I very often went for biggest dream. I get something in my head. I saw the movie. I decided to do something. And I just went for it without even waiting for logical approving of it. So I can tell you my hand on my heart, and my parents had a very, very tough time with me. I was a teenager because, it was things sometimes that I wouldn't be glad, happy if my son wanted to do today. But so it was. I was constructed. So, back 21 years back, I will tell you now that because of that I didn't listen to the logical part of my mind, to the feeling, the intuition inside of me, I made my biggest affair ever in my life. The affair that was worth for me 1.2 million Swedish crowns. It's about, we can say, more than $120,000 today. I was living at the time in Nacka in Stockholm. It's a beautiful suburban, the south part, a little bit more than south of Stockholm. And, I was loving to sailing. I was sailing the whole time, every summer. I had a little sailboat, about 30 feet, 9 meters. And I was longing for a big sailboat. I made the different patterns, educated, went the courses, educated myself to be a sailor. I really loved it. And it was 2004, beautiful summer. It was about 2 years after I started my journey in personal development. And I sold my boat, and I was looking for something a little bigger. And at the time, you didn't check the advancement on the digital pages, but there was the newspaper, like Yellow Pages, the paper also. And about the newspaper, Yellow Pages, was brushing for the boats, and I saw the 46 feet, iron 46. The concept was Peter I boat. It was very, very big boat at the time. And, I just fell in love with it. I had about 400,000 Swedish crowns saved, and for the sales of my smaller boat. And, it was way too little because the boat, the price was 1.2 million. It was 20 years, back, so it was much more than today, money. So what I did, I just started to think, how can I fix? How can I fix it? Then I called the man. I went there, just take a look at this boat. I went to this boat, and it felt. I was feeling as I'm home. I'm coming home. I was, checking the place where you prepare the food, the master bed cabin, and the couch, everything. I was sitting there. I remember I was speaking with the man. It's Klaus is his name, Klaus, and he said, Stefan, it feels that I can see it feels for you like home. Yes, it is. Isn't it problem only? I'm missing 800,000. Okay, but same with the bank. He says, okay. I went to call the bank, and I tell them that I want to buy the boat, everything about. I have 400,000, and they say, you have good income, everything, but if it would be a real estate or the apartment, no problem. I will give you the money, lend you the money, but this is the boat. It's not the security. So you cannot borrow the money. Okay, so I get disappointed, but some little voice in me tells me, don't give up. This boat is already yours. And this night, I couldn't fall asleep. So about maybe 1, 2 o'clock, I went down from my apartment to the car and started driving around Stockholm town. And I never was driving to the north part, because I was living in the south part. You don't really actually go to the north part of Stockholm for the ride. Then you live on the south. So this time it was some voice inside of me. Okay, go around and go to the north. So I drove. If you live in Stockholm, you know that you from the Nacka you go to the Hammarby, and then to the Årsta, and then on the beautiful highway E4. It's the Essingeleden is the name, huh? And the Essingeleden is a very, very high bridge, about maybe 40 meters, 50 meters above the lake. It's called Mälaren. I was driving down maybe thousands of times. I never looked down, and there was, this time I saw the neon sign, Boat Invest Marina. It was a boat broker there. So wow, the lamp, light in my head. Next day, I went home, and next day I come there. I went to the broker, and his name was Per. By the way, I bought 4 boats through him during the next upcoming years. And I told him all the story. And he said, tell me, you guy, how big is this boat? 46 feet. Oh, okay, it's close 14 meters. Yeah, exactly. How wide it is? 4 and 20. It's wider than 4 and taller than 12. Ask the owner if it's registered in the maritime administration as a vessel, as a ship. It's ship registered in Swedish. And I called the guy. He said, yes, it is. So the broker asked me, ask the guy if there is the mortgage deed in the bank. And he said, yes, the mortgage is for 900,000 crowns. So the broker said, okay, I can take the deal home to you for a certain fee, of course, because you can borrow the money from the bank, because this boat is registered in the marine administration, so it goes under the same law as a real estate. So you can borrow the money. To make long story short, 3 days later, I became the owner of the biggest boat in my life. And not only this, I had 100,000 over, because I had the 400,000, but what was necessary to put was 300,000, 25% of the price. And so 3 days later, I was owner of the biggest boat in my life, one of the biggest private owners in Stockholm. So you see, if you go for something and you don't let your logical mind mess it up for you, because the logical mind, the frame of references is only what you already done. But the inner voice, your intuition is connected to your higher self, to something what logical mind has not connection with. If you trust your inner voice, you will always find a way to get what you want. Believe me. But in order to trust your inner voice, you need to be very true with yourself. On a very basic level, everyday living must be true with who you are, what you want, how you treat yourself, how you treat others. Must be 100% good human being, with other words. You know, it was the story, of my life. To wrap it up, I remember my mentor told me, change the concept of yourself, and how your whole life will change. Because life is nothing but self-fulfilling prophecy. These ideas you accepted of yourself will over time become your reality. So don't work hard. Don't force the outside world. Because the outside world is a reflection of your inner world. Work on yourself. Work on your, there's no such a thing as, I remember a very, very famous man once said, I'm a great achiever. You tell me to dream too big. I tell you to think too small. That's exactly what it is. In order to change the quiet voice, the story you're telling to yourself, of yourself, determines everything in your life, whole your life, and your children, your family, everything. We created here on Psychology of Women the flagship program, Beyond Positive Thinking. Go to the homepage, the link below, check the program, or give me the bell. Because, I can tell you, it can be a turning point for the rest of your life, and 2026 can be the best year of your life and set the pace for the rest of your life. Fantastic life. But if you do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. You have a chance. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes with me. I was talking from my heart today, shared my story of my life. And I wish you Merry Christmas. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. And above all, take care of your mind, because your life is as good as your mind is. Take care. See you soon again. Ciao.